Hello everyone, this is Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. So as we saw last episode, not the most exciting last match of the season, like usual for some reason, but we're in tier 38, and we did alright on defense. We've already seen most of the results already, so I'll just be trying out the new format just to practice for this week, but yeah, there's already been spoilers from the past few episodes this week, so let's get into the first replay. Alright, here we go with this team. This week was quite a strange week on defense, to say the least. I don't know what people were doing. But yeah, the main shenanigans, of course, Wings of Mercy with the change fate with turn 1 Deadeye. The whole point was I wanted to get someone to meme proc the change fate Wings of Mercy thing. Of course, that was never going to happen, but it would be funny if it would happen. But I guess maybe if we have some time, I'll show what I was trying to get. But this week was quite a meme. I don't know what people were doing. Here, Bravelin's unable to kill Elwood here.
The two of us together, of course.
So they decide to hit end turn. They also activate the bolt trap, which is not fantastic. But it works out for them here because the healing tower also kicks my units out of Wings of Mercy range. So this Altina doesn't have to deal with Chrom, which may or may not have been a problem for her. But yeah, at this point, the match is already over at this point. Except for the fact that they don't actually have a way to take out Chrom here. They're just unable to pick up the damage, so they just end up sacking a unit here. And Deadeye doing Deadeye things. And well, yeah. A very common theme this week was Regan's attacking into Chrom, because of course when you're not running close counter, it's melee shenanigans. Yeah, I gotta practice this. I guess that's why we're doing it this week. Well, we'll get better at it eventually. I guess it's a good thing, I guess, that we're goofballing this week with the new format, because I'm definitely used to the old format, so... And once again, people do their classic end turn shenanigans, because why not? Like, it's not a terrible idea, but the problem is you can't just necessarily expect to just hit end turn and call it a day. It works out, of course, if you do your calcs and whatnot, and especially if you, for example, have some support, definitely will help out. But at this point, now that you've used your harmonized skill, you no longer have Vantage, which can be a small problem if you have a guy named Legendary Chrom coming to town with Deadeye. Probably not the greatest thing there. I'm kind of surprised people didn't do... I don't know what the term is, a wider bait? Just like baiting more units. If you have a competent turn, why wouldn't you go for the ultra multi-kill plays? I'm not sure why, but Bolt Trap goes off, so they're just able to pick up the kill here. And that's a win for them. You've already seen this replay, but people getting their revenge, I guess. Quite a decent amount of rematches this week. So... we definitely got to see a bunch of things on offense. They decided to go ahead here and test the Bolt Trap. It does allow them to set up Wings of Mercy. Like, even if they didn't get the Wings of Mercy going, they can still beat my team quite easily. With solid execution, of course. That's always the thing. You can't assume the enemy team is necessarily going to do. At this point, they have Vantage ready to go. So they can just two-shot here, and it's close foil, of course, so they get even more attack. It's quite straightforward for Legendary Leaf to two-shot there. and they can go use their Wings of Mercy to pick up the ether structures, and that's just a clean win, nothing too special there. I think going forward, this format will at least make the replays like 1% more interesting because you don't immediately know what's going to happen. But we got quite a few interesting teams. This person's like hard teching attack speed solo, which to a degree makes sense, but it's like I don't feel like it's probably worth it, but not really. There are instances where it can be useful, but I just don't feel like it's worth it. Of course, you're not going to get much more out of your attack anyways. So here, they just kind of assume Harmonize Altina's OP and will two-shot everything, but no, you still have to do your daily damage calcs. It's not even like Legendary Julia's that tanky. She has a whopping 29 defense. Like, I know there's Light and Dark, which is huge against the attack field buff and Unity and whatnot when she's not getting debuffed. But you gotta at least make sure stuff like that actually works out. Otherwise, things really compound on themselves for sure. So they're gonna use their duo skill here to do some damage, and that will allow them to pick up the kill on Legendary Chrom. But again, he's not even running low attack defense, so he definitely is not anywhere near as tanky as he could be. But yeah, at this point, the problem is Legendary Julia is still alive, and there's some dancers. One of them has Wings of Mercy. Not going to particularly end too well, so that's a Ripperonis. But yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised this week at what people did. There's a lot of people sabotaging themselves, which is kind of the recurring theme in my matches. Apparently, people sabotage themselves because in reality, like, there's so many problems with my layout. It's you could probably spend an entire day analyzing the defense, trying to see everything that's wrong with it. There's a lot that's really bad about the defense, but if no one knows, I guess it doesn't matter. But I really feel like they should be able to do something here. So of course they decide to hit end turn here with dual Alphonse, which is already somewhat suspicious because even if, you know, you could survive Deadeye, Duma still attacks for a decent amount here. Deadeye does not care about Caduceus staff, so yeah. It's barely a one-shot there, but it's a one-shot nonetheless. And again, he's not running low attack defense, so his damage output is quite a bit lower with Deadeye. The low attack defense being able to negate the field buffs of the enemy to defense is huge for, especially for specials like Deadeye that literally scale off of how much damage you do. It may or may not be somewhat important. But again, Chrom doesn't have close counter here, so they can just melee him. That's pretty typical. But let's move on to the next one. And well, we've already also seen this one, but just solid play, nothing mind-blowing here. Legendary Leaf, definitely super solid. Blade Session is definitely interesting to say the least. It makes sense in the context of this team though, with the Wings of Mercies and stuff. Like, it makes sense, but it's just you don't see Blade Session that often. It's kind of a rarity. But if you need as much attack and speed as you can get, you know, it works out. Because for example, you could use to change fate. He gets another action, your units can do a bunch of things, and then he can teleport in with his, say, Wings of Mercy if you set it up, and you're all good. It's definitely an interesting concept that definitely can work out. And of course, like we already talked about here, one issue with this layout is you can just corner my units, and it's free real estate. Not mind-blowing to figure out, but you do need a decent composition of units to do it. You can't just go in with any slapdash team and necessarily do it. So But it's just straightforward at the end of the day. They can go ahead and pick up the ether structure here and pick up the kill. And yeah, nothing too mind-blowing there either. Just solid play. And we've already seen this replay as well, but this is Goofball Fest at its finest. This is what happens when you don't quite pay attention to what you're doing, and things happen. So they go in for this bait because, of course, they're running dual saves, and they're stacking the buffs. Like, in general, you should be fine here. The Distant Guard spam, Caduceus Staff, the spur attack speed, speed, trying to just be super fast. Legendary Julia doing a bit of damage here. But the big thing is Crom coming in with Deadeye and almost straight up one-shotting. Bit unfortunate that Crom couldn't do it, but again, low attack defense would have helped quite a bit here. 6 extra damage, which translates to 12 extra damage with Deadeye, but of course then you can't run Wings of Mercy, so that's kind of the problem. And unfortunately we're not quite able to take out Felix with our units, but we do a decent job here. And so here they end up doing this, and the problem with this, as we've already seen, is Regan is no longer in range of near save. So that means Mr. Duma can walk to town and take out Regan, which obviously did not need to happen. The real value of these dual save offense teams is you can cluster your units together like this and stack buffs. So when you don't have one of your units in range, that's kind of a small weakness. Actually, well, I don't have either of the save skills, so I can't test it, but seeing the interaction with how the AI chooses who to attack, I think there's something to be, a tiny bit to be tested. There's not much to test, but that would be interesting to know what the AI does for that. If like a unit's not in range of the save units, but all the other units are in range, do they evaluate the combat as if attacking any of the other units is attacking the save unit, or what? So that would be something to look at, I guess. But, yeah, definitely did not need to happen. They could have even just pushed up straight down the middle. I don't see what would have gone wrong there, except maybe Brave Edelgard struggling against Elwood or something. I don't know. Because I guess she would do a decent amount of damage. But, yeah, I guess maybe that was what they were concerned about. But we'll move on to the next one. It does seem like the further we go on in Ether raids though, the more the save skills definitely, like we all know the save skills are super solid when you use it on a solid unit. That's not surprising. It's more of the impact it's having on both offense and defense, because of course for the higher end players who have access to more resources, you can run the like dual save strat, which is definitely super strong. A lot of defenses, I'm pretty certain if you execute it correctly, you can beat a lot of defenses with that. Even more so than like the people who run, say, dual Lin or the dual Micaiah and Winter Altina combo or whatever. Those kind of duo/harmonized hero combos, I feel like, are getting weaker over time because mostly because of the Saros 7th slot shenanigans, people setting up those turn 1 things, and the duo's hindrance chilling in the back means you can't use your duo or harmonized skills unless you take out the duo or harmonized unit on the enemy defense team, which probably isn't happening turn 1, and against teams where there's like an odd recovery healer, you can't isolate the trap. So if you have too many offense structures up, it's just you either go in or you have the enemy approach you. There's no other way around it. But Null Follow-Up doing its job here. Don't even need attack speed solo, of course, against Duma. And at this point it's just 2 dancers, so not going to expect much here. Naga actually only doing 58 damage there, pretty typical Naga Kappa, but Definitely one thing I learned about offense this week is Naga. Naga has a weapon that actually does something on occasion. But yeah, it was mostly the main unforced errors this week were just I forgot to. Well, we've already seen the rest of the results anyways, but let's just go in here. Um, the main thing on offense this week was just unforced errors. That's what happens when you play while brain dead. Not much of a surprise there. I do it for the challenge because, of course, if I were actually playing when I have a functional brain, I have a bit of time to play and maybe record at the same time, I should probably be able to win. If there's a way to win the match deathless, I'm probably going to figure it out, kind of deal. So it's more interesting to play while brain dead, I guess, for content kappa. But also kind of just shows that you can kind of still goofball and ether raids somehow and still manage to do all right. And here they decide to hit end turn with Brave Hector. We've already seen this, but of course the immediate issue is he can't immediately kill everything, which is kind of a small problem. It's like here, Legendary Julia is debuffed. She's still proccing Virtuous Naga though, but she's debuffed, which means when she gets danced, she's gonna do some more damage, and Hector's not able to kill. So Julia is able to pick up the 2-shot here, and well, they have the Bride Fiorm to isolate. That's one thing that's just kind of bad about this setup, is that Chrom and Olivia are literally in the same column. So if you have Bride Fiorm for Astra Season, you can definitely just isolate that column and not worry about any actual meme Wings of Mercy to change fate plays or something like that. Let's go to the last replay here. At the end of the day though, definitely learned a lot about the shenanigans of Ether Raid's offense in Astra Season against all these turn 1 slot 7 shenanigans. So many people were doing it this week. And well, of course, here the problem with this play is, again, if you don't kill, stuff happens, and that's a problem. Olivia actually even picks up the kill here, which is a first. And of course, Chrom's not going to be able to take out Brave Hector here. But like you can see there, he attacked Brave Hector. There's definitely something to do with the AI there. I'm guessing the idea is that with the, if you were to attack Plume, maybe the save does activate. I have no idea. Maybe the AI takes into account, but I have no idea. Again, here they decide to take out Julia, which, you know, might seem like a great idea until you realize, wait a second, what if I don't kill? And again, they don't kill, and I wasn't expecting anyone to actually get memed on by this, but the reason why the bolt trap's here instead of here is literally for this lunge, because Elowood's like right there. It should be pretty clear if you're gonna bait Elowood that you probably should not get lunged onto there, but that's just a meme that happened to work out once this week. And Elowood does pick up a kill, and Duma can easily one-shot Brave Hector there. Whopping 51 damage. Not too shabby there. And at this point, it's just Duma slowly creeping up on the enemy. Of course, they can definitely still win the match if they want to, but they've lost so many units that it's like, are you really gonna take this? But then you realize they don't have any ladder here, so you kind of just have to take it. But no ether structures, so, which in general, if you play well enough, it's not a big deal. But yeah, quite the strange season this week. People really just sabotaging themselves when they should just be getting clean wins against my defense. But yeah, with that, it looks like we're probably going to make top 3k, which was about expected for this amount of lift. And of course, defense, we're still holding on to this tier. That's literally what we're shooting for every week, which I believe, you know, we can always do it as long as we're running our merged defense mythics. Like on this team, we have our plus 10 Duma, So we at most lose minus 50, and on this team we have our plus 8 Bramamon, so at most we lose 52. So we can always stay at that tier as long as we use them. But yeah, I'll be back. I'm gonna see if I can show the to change Fate Wings of Mercy meme thing. So here we are, just showing what this. No one would literally do this, but this is just to show the idea of what could happen. It's just a goofball thing that I wanted to happen. But let's just go ahead by getting started here by setting up our shenanigans. And so the idea is there's always the looming threat of if you don't place your units correctly, you know, for example, say you bait Elwood here, we're gonna do so with Regan here, and you're like, oh, I can just make sure all my units are, for example, kind of like this, so that when Elwood lunges in, of course no one would do this because Legendary Julie is there to attack, like you wouldn't use Regan to bait here, but so then when you lunge, this Elwood's going to be in Wings of Mercy range, or in terms of HP. So Chrom could use Wings of Mercy. Of course, Olivia also has Wings of Mercy, so you gotta be careful about that. But the main point is that then Chrom can't Wings of Mercy in to immediately attack anyone, so of course the meme is getting to change fate to happen. So of course no one would do this again, but it's just to show the proof of concept that it could happen if you memed hard enough. So yeah, that's what I wanted to happen this week, but no one got it to happen. It was just Chrom typically just flinging himself in, which is definitely an issue with the layout. There's so many problems with the layout that it's a decent team, but it's not good enough that it should have gotten as many wins as it did, honestly. But anyways, let's go to Resonant Battles here. We're just going back up to interval 20 like usual. Allegiance Battles, it's our most stacked season, water season, and we're still dropping ranks. Probably because it's Earth season and Legendary Clud's now a thing, so there's even more inflation to score. I think we'll be holding top 1k for a while because it kind of does demand you have a plus 10 pair up legendary, and that does take a bit of time to get. So I feel like we should be okay for a while, but it's not going to be a permanent thing, so we gotta definitely get going to actually, for example, filling out our wind or fire season, whichever one I choose to build up. We gotta build up one of the legendary heroes to plus 10 to get a full cycle of blessings that we can always use every week, regardless of what the seasons are. You don't need 4. You only really build up all 4 seasons if you want to specifically use some particular legendary heroes or something. Otherwise, there's really no point. But yeah, Arena Assault, we got a pretty decent score here. But the matches are pretty ridiculous with Dual Lift being bonus and Ether Raids and Arena. The guy's literally everywhere, and on some maps where there's defense tiles and whatnot, haha, the guy will just casually have 50, 60 defense and res, and that is tough to deal with in Arena Assault when you don't always have a billion answers to everything. And of course it's a problem because he's a cav ranged unit that sits in the back with a rally, and things get a little haywire if you don't manage turn 1 properly. But with that, I think that's it. Mjolnir Strike is going to be starting up again in a day, and it's light major. We'll see if we can stay with 854. I'm getting that feeling it's probably not good enough again. Just keep getting jebaited over trying to stay in tier 21, but we'll eventually do it, Kappa. All we have to do is catch up with everyone's mythic merges. What could possibly be so hard about that? And Ponzo Loki, haven't even done my first run yet for this particular iteration, but I think it should just be an usual fishing fest again to stay in tier 10. Shouldn't be too difficult because it's anything goes bonus. So with that, we'll be back when the results drop in. I think the reward should be out at this point, but there we go. Now we get to goofball in Vaults of Heaven with Nino and get absolutely demolished because it's a terrible bonus rotation for us. Terrible bonus structure, it's just a recipe for disaster. So, yeah, I'm not sure what we're gonna do about that. I honestly think the Panic Manor, like, as much as people sabotage themselves, putting themselves under Panic Manor, we're just going to run Infantry School, of course, so we don't get rolled immediately on defense and do something like this. And yeah, things are not gonna end well. But maybe we can pull off some more memes. Guess Resonant Battles hasn't released the rewards yet. It's kind of strange, not gonna lie. Going back up to tier 21, I don't remember what the next arena bonus rotation is, so we'll see if we can stay or not. We got a nice 1, 2, 3 for arena assaults. It's cool, I guess. One day we will journey back to top 50 for the memes, but it's just too much fishing. But I guess we'll have to be back in a few minutes, I guess, for Resonant Battles. I like how I paused the recording and then hit Resonant Battles and then now it shows up. 10 out of 10. Yeah. Well, there we go. 834,000 feathers. Kind of just trying to get to 999,999 for the fun of it again, but yeah. Not much to do except farm away at the modes. But that's gonna be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ether Dragon, and hope to see you all next time. Bye.